Good morning, everyone. This is Beth Ricklefs, Life Insurance Sales Director with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you for joining us this Monday morning today. And I will do a quick intro to Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I can see the names of people that are in with us today, some of them brand new and some have been with us for a while. So hopefully this is a good reminder and a good intro to Insurance Agency Marketing Services. First off, if you are a new producer with IAMS, just recently contracted, in the first 6 months, we want to jumpstart your business with us. That's the best way for you to get a feel for all the services that we do. In response to that, in the first 6 months, if you get to the $100,000 level with annuities, all the way up to $1 million in annuities in the first 6 months, life insurance counts as 10% of that. So that's $10,000 of target life or $100,000 of target life in the first 6 months. And it can be a combination of numbers. You're going to enter at different prize levels, from cash to marketing material, videos, appointment setters, all kinds of things. You can cash out at any time. It looks like we even have a trip on there as well, but you can cash out at any time in that first 6 months of being contracted with us. So again, it's a way to get you jump started. Make sure that you're familiar with all the services that IAMS has, and thank you for doing that with us. We know that your business is a lot like our business, and our best agents come from you guys, referrals that you give to us. So one of those thank yous is a 50 one-time bonus when you refer an agent when they get their first contract. Of course, they'll start that 6 months with us too, as far as the new agent bonus. And then in addition, for everything that they're writing, whether it's life or annuities, we're going to give you extra commission off that too. So it's 0.15 on the life target, index annuities 0.20. We also have figures for SBLI and MIGA. That is not a haircut off the agent that you referred to us. It is out of IAMS' pocket as a thank you for the referred business. Marketing reimbursement, we'll go over some of our creative marketing services, but we want to be in the game with you with your marketing. So we do pay hundreds of dollars of marketing reimbursement all the time. 100 would equal 100,000 of index annuity premium. Single premium life and target life insurance get paid better. So we've got $200 for every 100,000 of single premium, which what Phil is going to be talking about with homesteaders. I forgot to introduce you, Phil and Amy. I've got Phil and Amy here with Homesteaders Life with us, and they're going to be going over a program that everybody should be taking advantage of, and very little people are taking advantage of. So it's going to be a really good thing to differentiate you from any other advisor out there. But what they'll be talking about counts for single premium life. So every $200 or every 100,000 of single premium life, 200 of marketing reimbursement, and life target every 10,200. Back office support. We run all of your back office support. Some people are surprised by how much we actually do, from pre-sale when you're talking with your life or annuity directors on case design, what products are out in the market, the fact finders that you've done for your clients to make sure we build the absolute perfect case for you and help you with the presentation on that, to pre-screening clients when it comes to health concerns. From there, you've got forms at your fingertips. We're very quick at sending out forms too if you'd prefer it to do it that way. And then we're going to handhold everything in the process when it comes to annuity and life insurance business with our amazing case management team to get it through the process as quickly as possible, and most importantly, get you paid. From there, we're going to help when you do actually have the case paid and on the books, any kind of changes that you might need from allocations to beneficiaries, changing ownership, any of that we will help you with as well. We also offer paperless contract, which is great, especially in the e-application environment that we're in, that we can process contracting, and in most states do the contracting and write business all at the same time. Our website, if you have not registered for that, it's IAMSinc.com. Do that right away if you have not done so yet. That is going to have our term, GUL, and final expense quote engines on the life side. It's always accessible. You can get any forms that you might have missed off hours. A lot of industry links, some amazing training material in our sales resource library. You can read about how to set up a buy-sell agreement, key man, charitable giving, special needs trusts, all of that great information. There's a lot of calculators on there too, like 72T, needs analysis, everything like that. And there's also access to our YouTube channel. Hopefully you're getting emails from us to sign up on events like this. If you miss anything on our website, you'll see the scheduled webinars coming up, so you can make sure to sign up for them. We work in an environment now of e-applications. I think that is a big contribution to, I guess, COVID, when people couldn't meet face-to-face, and how were we going to still promote business. So the e-application platform, which was already in existence, became a bigger deal. So we have Luma that we work on the annuity side with. I believe there's quoting capabilities there. It's going to take all of your e-application. It's going to be a management system for you as well. I believe you can get statements, everything from the Luma platform. Firelight is what we used to use on the annuity side, and now we mainly use them for a few life carriers that have stayed on Firelight. Allianz, F&G, National Western Life are a few that I can think of. A lot of our business, more of it, is through iPipeline Solutions, which is also access on our website under Products Life, and then you would go to the e-application icon. You do not have to register for that. You just have to register on our website to have access to all of the iPipeline capabilities that we have on our website. And Sunfire is what we use for our Medicare business. Creative services, as I mentioned, with the marketing reimbursement, they work hand in hand, but we have a wonderful team here at IAMS to help with anything that you can think of marketing, whether it's seminars, website design, how do I design a logo, how am I present on LinkedIn, Facebook, all of it, every bit of it. And the great benefit to our creative service team is that they all have been in the business in the financial services field for a very long time, which means that we're not recreating the wheel every time, especially when it comes to compliant language and so forth. So a wonderful team to work with. And one thing that IAMS does for free for anyone that wants to take advantage of it is if you work with a life or annuity marketer, we can do a marketing analysis, which talks about what are you doing for marketing right now. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe you already have some things in place. Where do you want to go with your marketing? What is your marketing budget? And then it's very much like a mini business plan for your marketing. We work with our creative services team. They write up the marketing plan, and then your life or annuity director would work with you on how to get that implemented with IAMS. well, and this is talking about the marketing analysis. I'll say again, with what makes IAMS different from any other marketing organization that you're going to work with is we tailor make your marketing plan to you. I've worked at a lot of different IMOs. Most of the time they're promoting something that's cookie cutter or turnkey, something like that. And we want to make it exactly what it is for you and your market and what you're trying to accomplish. Rounding out your business, as a licensed agent, it makes business a little bit more sticky when you add a different line of business to it. So if you're an annuity producer, how do you get into the life game? If you're a life producer, how do you get into the annuity game? And then wealth management can be a huge key in that too. It can increase your revenue. It can give you a steady monthly stream of revenue as well, which sometimes I think, especially on the life side, you've got peaks and valleys. Homesteaders Life, I think, is a great way to stabilize that life insurance business too. Improve your client retention and strengthen relationships. And IAMS Wealth Management will work with you on brand new into the wealth management game, all the way up to very experienced. And when I mean beginner level, how do you get your test passed? How do you get into this area of business? They can handhold you every step of the way there. We offer life and annuity academies. We're wrapping up our last one for the year at the end of September. There might be a couple of spots if you are close by, but this is a great opportunity to rub elbows with other producing agents to hear what they're doing around the U.S. And then, of course, we're backing that up with top carriers to help with the Life and Annuity Academy. We're going to talk about sales ideas, macro tax planning. We always have several keynote speakers. It is definitely worth every ounce, every second spent with the Life and Annuity Academy. So do reach out to your life and annuity directors to make sure that they know when the next one comes up that you want to be in attendance there. Every year we offer, well, I shouldn't say every year because our requirement is an 18-month qualifier. Our trip this year is Trek to Quebec, and you can see that we're going to go there next year in August of 2025. It started qualification January 1st, 2024. So we got a good, 10 or 11 months still to qualify. Those incentives for new agent producer bonuses are on top of that, along with marketing, any kind of referrals that you're giving us. That you can still make this trip, especially with a combination of business and then looking at opportunities like homesteaders that can really jumpstart you in the next 6 months. Always follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. And with that, I will turn it over to Phil and Amy, who are going to talk with you about homesteaders. I love, love, love this concept. This is a great way to sell more life insurance and annuities. It's a great way to enter a conversation with absolutely anybody by using their survey questions. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over.
Thank you, Beth. Yes, I love the fact that you guys have all the marketing reimbursement, all those additional services. That is so valuable to the producers out there. And I love the fact that the Beneficiary Liquidity Plan is a part of that as well. Amy Bloom's on here with me as well. Amy runs our business development. So anybody that gets contracted will have a great relationship with Amy, as she'll make sure you understand our eApp process, answer any of the detailed questions that you may have as well. But staying on the theme of money, I'm going to kind of reverse my presentation. Normally we talk about the commission side at the end, but Beth kind of inspired me that we're going to flip the script here and talk about how much money you can make with the Beneficiary Liquidity Plan. And then we'll talk about the problem, the important problem that it solves. We created something called a shortlist sprint. where we help you make tens of thousands of dollars in the first 14 to 21 days that you do business with the Beneficiary Liquidity Plan. Tens of thousands of dollars. And it's this simple. We're going to help you figure out who your ideal clients are. You're going to go through your book of existing clients. We're going to cherry pick those, and you're going to come up with a list of 5 or 10. And then you're going to use our 5-question survey that we will provide for you. We'll brand it to you. You'll send it to those 5 or 10 clients. They're going to send it back. You're going to walk through their yes or no answers, and it will sell themselves. In my 25 years of being in this business and over $22 billion of sales, our 5-question survey generates more revenue per minute than anything I've ever seen in this industry. Now that we got the commission part out of the way, that you're going to make tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars with your existing clients, let's talk about the problem that we're solving. Now, we're solving a problem for you as the agents, and we're also solving a problem for the families that you serve. The problem that we're solving for agents is, one, revenue. We already addressed how huge of an opportunity that is. And second, retention of assets when your clients pass away. Wealthmanagement.com says that 66% of beneficiaries fire you as the agent or advisor immediately when your client passes away. Over 66% of the assets, life insurance, annuities that you manage are going to walk out the door as part of this $80 to $100 trillion that's going to be transferring hands over the next 20 years. We don't want you to be a part of that statistic. So we trademarked something called the Hero Bridge. We're going to help you build a bridge to that inheriting generation. And we do it in 2 steps. One, we pay you to sell the Beneficiary Liquidity Plan to your client and be introduced to the beneficiaries so you can start that relationship. We're going to remind the beneficiaries on your behalf that this policy is in place every year so they don't forget about you. And then more importantly, when the client passes away, you're now the hero showing up with money within 24 to 48 hours of the client passing away without needing a death certificate. You see how I'm reversing this whole presentation? I'm giving you all the good stuff first. Now, Phil, how does that help? Well, if any of you have processed a death claim anytime soon or recently, you know how long it takes to get a death certificate. You know how long the insurance companies take to process a claim even once they receive all the paperwork. I was talking with one of our advisors who was in the office last week. He had a client in February. He'd written a couple $1 million of life insurance on them. They were in their 60s, early 60s, were healthy. The wife died in her sleep in February, died in her sleep. Well, I don't know if you realize this or not, but if you die in your sleep and you weren't sick or had any other medical issues, they're going to do an autopsy. Because on your death certificate, it has to have a known cause of death. Well, as of September, 8 months later, no one has signed off on the death certificate yet for cause of death. Therefore, there's millions of dollars of life insurance that they can't file a claim on. This is just one of numerous situations that advisors share with us on a daily basis on issues they've had with clients getting death certificates to file the claim. Now, you'll hear Amy and I say all day long, we're not trying to tell you that families can't figure it out without a beneficiary liquidity plan. For generations, we didn't have a beneficiary liquidity plan, right? And we have loved ones pass away, and we all figured it out. We're still here. But when a loved one passes away and there's no immediate money, it causes stress. It can cause arguments and disagreements amongst loved ones. And it can cause short-term or long-term financial hardship. And I'm going to say this next part twice. It doesn't cost anything to fix the problem. Did everybody hear me say that? It doesn't cost anything to fix the problem. So if it doesn't cost anything to fix the problem, Why would you want to make it hard for your family on one of the worst days of their life, the day you pass away? Now, there's two types of clients that do not need a beneficiary liquidity plan. So we're going to eliminate two types of people. Everybody else needs a beneficiary liquidity plan. Here are the two types of people that do not need one. People that don't have any money. We don't create wealth. They're not buying anything. We're reallocating inheritance they're already leaving. So if they don't have any money, I can't help them. Doesn't mean you might not have other solutions for them, but it's not us. So client number one, we can't help, clients that don't have any money. Client number two that we can't help, clients that don't like or care about their beneficiaries. I can't fix that either. But what did we just do? We opened up 99% of your clients, because if they're a client of yours, they should have some type of money or they wouldn't be your client typically. And we know that most people care about their family. So we're not asking them to buy extra or more inheritance. So whether they do a beneficiary liquidity plan or not, the families get the exact same amount of money. So if they're leaving $1 million and they don't do a BLP, their family gets $1 million. If they do a BLP, let's say they allocate $30,000 to it. When they die, their family gets the $30,000 immediately tax-free without a death certificate, and they still get a total of $1 million. We did not give the family any more or any less. So what Amy and I coach you on is you'll learn how to help clients determine what's the minimum. What's the minimum dollar amount their family's going to need for the first 30, 45, 60, 90 days while their estate is in that vacuum period. Time stands still. What's the minimum? And then we help clients determine where are we going to allocate it from. Because remember, I said it twice. This will be a third time. Because they're not buying more inheritance, it doesn't cost anything. We simply reallocate assets they already have from their left pocket into their right pocket, into the beneficiary liquidity plan. And because we don't require a death certificate to pay out the tax-free amount, now on one of the worst days of the family's life, the day they pass away, we at least eliminated the immediate financial burden by giving them access to money they were ultimately going to inherit anyways. Now, our 5-question survey. It's super simple, and people try to not use it, but you need to use it. I know that I don't care if it's your mom, you need to use the survey. It was designed to get the client to admit they care about their family. We already know they care, right? But I want them to admit it. It gets them to admit they don't want to be a burden when they pass away. We already know most of your clients don't want to be a burden, but I want them to tell me. And then the last question, and is worded very specifically, it says, how much of the inheritance? You see, I'm already setting this up that they don't have to buy anything. That's 4th time I said it. How much of the inheritance would you want your family to access in 24 to 48 hours, assuming the average funeral is $15,000 and additional affairs are $10,000? We're leading them to our average case size of about $25,000. And we give them dollar amounts they can check. So then we follow up on the survey and we ask them, have you prepaid for your funeral? Yes or no? By the way, we don't care what the answer is. I want to have a conversation. It's a 10-minute conversation. 90% of our business comes from annual reviews with the 5-question survey. So we're not asking you to buy leads or see extra people. We're asking you to send the survey to your existing clients or people that you know, and then have a 10 to 15-minute conversation. 50% are going to do something on the spot. 25% want to think about what's the minimum dollar amount, and then 25% won't for whatever reason. We've been doing this for 6 years. We've done tens of thousands of surveys with people. We know what all their answers are. We know what they're going to say. It's the pros and cons of only doing one thing for 6 years. We know exactly what people are going to say. We know exactly what you need to be saying up front. We have everything laid out, turnkey. And again, in my 25 years in this business, this is the simplest conversation to have when you follow our script and survey. And then once you get contracted, Amy will schedule a call with you. She'll walk you through our eApp. Folks, it's literally name, address, social security number, date of birth, who's your beneficiary, and what account are we drafting. If you saw the paper app, which we don't do paper, but if you saw it, it's shorter than the typical annuity application from 1998. It's 4 pages. And part of that's only because the state replacement forms if they happen to own any insurance. Now, Phil, if we're not buying anything, is that 5th time? We're not buying anything to solve the problem. Where's the money come from? Remember, we said we reallocate, right? So if your clients already have money, we will coach you through the survey. So let's say they marked $50,000 on the survey. I'll ask them, well, if something were to happen to you tomorrow, in your mind, where would your family access that $50,000? I'm already leading them to where mentally, or have they kind of earmarked this money? Could be a checking savings account, could be money market, they could say annuity, they could say life insurance, whatever it is. That's typically where I'm going to start. Because of my background on the annuity side, and I know IAMS does a ton of annuities as well, we do a lot of free withdrawals from annuities. That's not taking away someone's existing liquidity and lifestyle money. We're just utilizing a free withdrawal, typically when they didn't need it. A lot of money from cash and savings. Now, here's some of the objections we get. Again, it's great, and Amy's really good at these objections. Amy, are you able to talk also?
Sure.
So if someone said, well, Amy, you're the financial advisor and I'm the client, I go, well, Amy, you know, I already own life insurance and annuities. Why would I need a beneficiary liquidity plan? Like, what do the advisors say back to that?
Well, unfortunately, in order to start the claims process for any of your life insurance contracts, you need a death certificate. Do you have a death certificate? Unfortunately, I can't help you if you don't have a death certificate. So you're not going to be able to access that money probably for 60 or 90 days.
That's perfect. Well, Amy, we worked with our estate planning attorney and we set up a living trust, and my son is my successor trustee and all of our money's in there. Shouldn't that be fine?
You know, Phil, that's a really good question, and I get that question a lot. Unfortunately, if you're the trustee of an account, in order to access and become the trustee of that account, you need a death certificate. You need proof that you are the trustee on the account. Typically, you're going to have to hire an attorney to help you. And that, even though that's a good way to avoid probate, what you're actually doing is delaying the time that you or any of the beneficiaries can access any of the funds available in that trust.
So it still requires a death certificate?
It does.
Well, Amy, the same time we did that, we went down to the bank and we worked with our, investment advisor, and we set up all of our accounts with TOD or POD, transfer on death. So shouldn't that work?
Again, unfortunately, with a transfer on death or a payable on death, Phil, you do need a death certificate in order to access those accounts. And what's becoming even more commonplace is even on a joint account with joint right of survivorship, because financial institutions are being pulled in to these lawsuits because possibly that account has to go through probate. And if they're releasing some of those funds, you'd be surprised if you call your bank, even with a joint account, and a number of the larger banks especially will say, I'm sorry, we freeze those assets until you can show us a death certificate and proof that you have ownership on the account.
And we're not kidding, folks. Like, we talk to thousands of advisors. We hear these stories every day. And what we explain to clients is kind of like I said earlier. Can families figure it out without a BLP? They can. But if it doesn't cost anything to fix the problem, sixth time, if it doesn't cost anything to fix the problem, why would you want to make it hard for your family? If I was asking you to buy more inheritance, and I was asking you to write premium payments to leave more money than you're already leaving, then I could understand maybe your hesitancy and reluctance. But you're already leaving money. We're simply predetermining the amount you want them to access. So that on one of the worst days of their life, the day your loved one passes away, the day you pass away, we eliminate that immediate financial burden. Somebody asked about slides. I don't have slides. We're just having a fireside chat today, Amy, myself, and you guys. So how do you get started? We make it simple. You get contracted directly with Homesteaders Life. Amy and I both work for Homesteaders. IAMS is one of the only places you can get access to the Beneficiary Liquidity Plan, just back from our long relationship with some of the leadership there at IAMS. So you're at a great spot. All your commissions pay direct from IAMS. You get access to the bonus dollars, the marketing reimbursement, all the other things that IAMS does to support you. You get access to our team as well. You get contracted. Amy will schedule a call with you to answer any detailed questions you have about the product. From there, she'll walk you through the eApp. We have a super slick, simple eApp process that you can do over Zoom. You can do in person, on your iPad. We make it super easy. And then you come up with your list of 5 to 10 clients, and we start with a short list sprint so we can make you some money. Now, again, I told you I was doing everything backwards today. Phil, what is the actual money put in or invested in, and how do you not need a death certificate? Well, I wish we were sitting here and we were doing something super fancy, something magical, something complicated, but it's super simple. We use a guaranteed issue, single premium, fixed, whole life insurance contract with a 119-year-old A-rated mutual insurance company, Homesteaders Life. And I know I said the word life insurance, but think of it more like a savings account at the insurance company. It earns 3.35% tax deferred, but more importantly, it passes tax-free without a death certificate. Now, we have a patent pending on our death claims process, but I'm going to give you the simple version. By the way, Homesteaders, last year we paid almost 70,000 claims without a death certificate. Just in 2023, almost 70,000 claims without a death certificate. This is what we do. But here's the simplified version. In this country, whether you're being buried or cremated, you end up in front of a licensed funeral director. That's one of the first things that happen after you pass away is what funeral home. We're not pre-signing that. Your family picks that whenever you pass. But essentially, the funeral director goes, yep, Phil's dead. That's it. We did that 70,000 times last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. For over 30 years, we've been paying claims without a death certificate. That is what we do at Homesteaders Life. They do over $500 million a year of premium through funeral homes. We created a product for the financial advisor and insurance agent space that does not have to be pre-assigned to a funeral home. People don't have to pick out their caskets or any of that stuff. They simply need to admit they care about their family. They need to be leaving some sort of inheritance, and we decide what's that minimum dollar amount to reallocate. And if they can understand the fact that it doesn't cost anything to fix the problem, by using our survey and having the conversation where they admit they care and they admit they don't want to be a burden, really the only conversation is what's the right dollar amount for that family. It's not a matter of should they or do they want to. We knock that out right away. The question is what's the right dollar amount for them? And one of the reasons we talk about the minimum is you can help them earn a higher rate of return in an indexed annuity or some other vehicle than 3.35. Although 3.35 is not a terrible rate when you factor in tax deferred and tax free. But we're not doing it for rate of return. We're doing it for liquidity at death. So if you're interested, reach out to your marketer at IAMS, get set up directly with homesteaders. We'll get a call scheduled with Amy to make sure all your detailed questions are answered. We'll get you into the eApp so you can start taking applications, and we'll get you your custom 5-question survey. The survey is key. We have all of our video training you can watch, role playing scripted out, whether you want to read it in a PDF or watch videos of people role playing. We have interviews on our YouTube channel with advisors that have had success implementing BLP. We have some great interviews with estate planning attorneys and funeral directors, validating everything that we say. So with that, Beth, we can wrap it up, get everybody back to selling stuff today, but we appreciate the time and the opportunity of sharing our story of the Beneficiary Liquidity Plan.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think the only comment I got was the slides which you addressed. There was another advisor that shared with us that he just finished up a friend or a client that the father died, and it was 8 weeks to get that death certificate, and all of those accounts that you can't get to without a death certificate. I'd also bring up that Amy has always been absolutely amazing when somebody contracts with homesteaders as far as onboarding, which is a great help. I know if you ask those questions, if you implement that into your practice, not only are you going to sell more life insurance, but you will uncover more annuity business. I guarantee it, because people in their heads are thinking, I've got it in checking, I have it in savings, I have it in CDs, for what their liquidity plan is, so they don't tell you about it because that's where they've earmarked it. If you ask those questions, they're going to tell you about that, and you're going to be able to say, well, it might be better suited for a liquidity plan such as homesteaders, and you're freeing up money and opportunity to do other things. It is only 5 questions. Honestly, it's just the right thing to do to ask people those questions, and it's going to lead to a lot of great things. And I know a lot of death claims that the beneficiaries get the money and they go to somebody else. Like that's heartbreaking. If you helped with the life insurance or the annuities, you got to figure out a way that the beneficiaries are coming back to you for advice on that. I was going to ask you, I think you kind of were answering it, but can you address how it would affect the 2-year contestability clause?
For life
insurance, I mean, it's obviously a single premium, but if there is, like in the case of that autopsy, I'm sure that had a little to do with proving the actual cause of death. Is there any contestability? I mean, are you researching any of that, or suicide clause type thing? We had a client
die literally days after their policy issued, and we paid out the full claim.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm sorry, I can answer to that too, Phil. There is a 2-year contestability clause for suicide in the actual policy itself. Almost every life policy has that, simply because they don't want you taking out a life insurance policy before you do that. And there could be, in certain situations, if there is an autopsy and it's unconfirmed, or potentially the beneficiary may be a suspect in that type of thing. Yes, it's like a standard life contract in that sense. But as Phil stated, we have paid out claims immediately upon death. If you don't need that autopsy, sometimes even if there is an autopsy, but that is in the contract itself, yes.
Oh, perfect. And then I know I got this question last time of what happens on the weekend if death occurs, and Phil and I were talking earlier. That's why there's a 24 to 48 hour window. That takes into account that, you know, you don't get to pick the day of the week that you die. So that's why they've got that window of time to get the claim settled.
It would pay first thing Monday morning, typically.
Well, I thank you for spending time with me again. I really think people need to take advantage of it. If anything, the 5 questions is going to lead you to a lot more sales anyway, but also it makes you different because nobody else is talking about this. I've not yet, when I talk to somebody about homesteaders and the liquidity plan, have they said they already have that figured out. And if so, I just think that it's a good standard practice to implement that. But again, thanks, Amy. Thanks, Phil. If you have anybody has any questions, I tried to answer everything that came up. Feel free to reach out to any of the life insurance sales directors. Of course, we'll be following up with you as well.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.